What's going on, traders? How we doing? Good morning to you. Stocks are moving, of course. We got a lot of earning stocks out there. We'll talk all about PanW. We'll get into even some lulls action. Who's buying up all that weed fertilizer? You guys know where it is. Let's get to the action. It's trade the pool. A lot of stocks moving. GTBP, we were talking about that yesterday. Ripping, now up 86%. It's time to trade. Let's get after it. What's going on, traders? Let's get to the action. You guys know a lot of stocks moving around. I'll first start off the day. Let's get to the action. Let's see what's going on. I'm looking around at technology, making moves, of course. Wouldn't you know it? NVIDIA news out there. We'll talk a little bit about that. It's getting a little bit of a shakedown right now, 946. So just to start off the day, I did want to let you guys know I do got a swing on right now that I'm paying attention to. I might cut here as I'm seeing the market drop this morning. Intel is one that I took a swing on. Yesterday, I took a trade on this, was able to make some profits. Looking to make this get another little round today. But of course, 31.77 will probably be the risk right now. Right now, I only got 30 shares. So just to put it in perspective, I can hold about $1 from there. And that's 32, so I could essentially hold the 31. Let's see what happens here on Intel. Let's see if it starts to bounce out the gates. Let's get to some of the earnings stocks of the day. A lot of action out there. Just wanted to give you guys the heads up on my swing trade. Let's go to Palo Alto. Okay, let's take a look here. PanW, right? We were trading this just recently at 300, and that day did give me a little bit of a shake, but now it went all the way up in the pre-market here, aftermarket, towards 325 off the earnings. They did beat on the EPS $1.32, beating the $1.25 estimate. Sales of 1.98 beat the 1.96 billion estimate, and overall not looking too bad here. They did see Q4 EPS at $1.40 to $1.42 versus $1.41 estimate. So things slightly off the estimate. Not that bad here, but definitely taking a big beating down here. Now it's starting to bounce back. We'll see if this can start to hold the 300. We'll see what happens there. The next one up, Zoom Video. You guys remember this was definitely a darling, and at one point was one of the best stocks in 2020, but now has been one of the worst stocks since 2022. And so this has not really done anything since then. Has been going sideways. I was thinking that maybe it could start making its way back to 65. You can see there's someone making a bet here. I feel like someone made a big bet here on Zoom, and they might have sold into that first early pop, but we'll see if this can start working its way back. Right now, it's just slowly trickling down. They did beat, but there's just not much growth here in Zoom, so not much to love in that report. Then when you go to the lows, I talk about it. Of course, we'll see what happens low. Trying to get up there towards 240s. Got up there in the pre-market. Big spike right off the earnings report. EPS here at 306, beating the 294 estimate. Sales of 21.36, beat the 21.12 billion estimate. Comparable sales, though, were actually decreased 4.1%. So that's not the best news, but overall, still holding in there. We'll see how this affects Home Depot and Lowe's. And in a few minutes, we'll get into some other ones out there. I still got AutoZone, Macy's. We'll talk a little bit about Lam Research buyback, NTNX news with NVIDIA. So much on the tape, but it's good to see you, Scott. How's everything going with you? And looks like we got some penny stocks rocking and rolling out there. Let's take a look at some of the action.
Yeah, we've got MMAT on the go here, MMAT and GTBP from yesterday. So MMAT first, just drawing that out here as you was going through that analysis there, Mitch. And we had a huge pump on the after hours yesterday. Attempt at the sell side liquidity pool at 408 for a short down to the buy side liquidity pool. That's where it is at the moment. So this is on the scanners. It's the third on the my gap scanners this morning for under 50 mil and under 50 market cap. But it's been there and done it. The question is, will it try and get some volume out of the 270, 280 area as we're looking at this buy side pull for an attempt back up? The new sell side pull there is going to be at about 360 to 380. So yeah, 350 would be a nice 50-cent half number there to go for if we do get that pump out of the buy side pull. GTBP ripping this morning. We had an intraday benchmark yesterday from pre-market lows sitting up there at 9. That was good for a couple of shorts there pre-market, and then the fade back down, but it didn't fade very far. It only held up really that buy side pull that had been sitting there, and it held it through the after hours as well and the pre-market for a bounce. We looked at that sell side pull this morning. What happens when we go through the sell side pull? We get momentum, and boy, did we get momentum this morning. So this morning's pre-market lows is giving us benchmarks today. We've already smashed through that first one after wicking off and back down into the bottom of it. So now bogey level could hold just a few cents off there, half a dollar off of what are we, 15.50 to 16. Could still see 16 if we rip on the open, and then I'll be watching that number. But a very, very, very strong stock as of right now, so we'll keep an eye on where that is going. MMV from yesterday. Looking to see if we can't get a pop on this to get something 20-30 cents out of MMV. If we can take a pop to the upside there. The sell side on that a minute is going to be around 160, 170. So if we can get up to 160 or 170 on MMV, I'll be looking at that as well. But put your tickers in the chat. We'll take a look at any more you've got in the meantime. Still going to carry on looking for these small caps for you.
Yeah, it's great to see everybody in the chat. Definitely smash the like and support the show. And if you could do us a favor, like always, hit that share button down below. That is the best way to go ahead and help us out, especially everybody on YouTube. You can hit that share button, hit the X button, and let everybody know we're live, guys. Come on over. All right, let's get it going. Let's see what we got here. More stocks on the earnings docket. So let's get to AutoZone. I can get us over to AutoZone here. Let's take a look. Of course, AZO, AutoZone. Let's see what we can come up with. And this is one of the stocks that, man, it's just hard to trade being in the thousands, right? But other than that, I mean, I always just look back at the trend. The trend on AutoZone says it all. So if you were an AutoZone employee in 2005 and now the stock is all the way up there, let's just put it this way. You might have been able to retire on this thing, man. Look at this chart. I don't know about you guys, but I always wish I worked at AutoZone. Looking back, I'm like, man, I should have just grabbed some stock there. But let's see what happens with the 3,000 mark. This is going to be the important mark. You can see it on the weekly. Definitely struggling there right now, but could recover it in the opening action. We'll see what happens if this can go back through the 3,000 mark. That's the level that I'd be looking at if I was going to play this. I'll tell you right now, guys, very unlikely me playing AZO, but it's something definitely to watch, and investors should be happy. If this stock would ever do a split, I think that's when it could be something that can maybe come after, but in the thousands, it's just hard to play, right? Let's keep it going. Let's go towards Macy's and what's going on in retail. And I think this is important as we'll get TJX earnings tomorrow. So keep on the radar. Retail stocks are coming in and something to pay attention to. Let's go to Macy's here. Macy's trying to get a little bit of a lift. Did do a little bit of a dip right off the earnings, but then recovering here. EPS at 27 cents versus a 15-cent estimate. So good beat there. Net sales were at 4.8 versus 4.86. So a little miss on the estimate there for net sales. When we look at merchandise inventories, they were actually up, and gross margins were actually down from 40% down to 39.2. So it seems like they're trying to get some more people inside the stores, giving up the tiniest amount in the margins, trying their best. And you know Macy's, they'll try it all. They'll give you discounts, they'll give you money, whatever they can do to get you inside the store. $20, such a vital spot. Right now, we've been fighting closer towards like that 990, but I really just see this whole overall area just above 20 as resistance right now. Can we clear it and start making our way to 21? That's going to be on the radar. And of course, we're talking Macy's. What do you guys think about Macy's? Who's still going to Macy's and buying stuff? I only go to Macy's when Amazon makes me return stuff. But That's because they get me in the store. They usually give me $10, and I'm like, should I buy something? I mean, they gave me $10. We'll see what happens. All right, let's keep going. Future day traders, see you out there. Definitely smash the like. I like the logo too. I'll give you a shout out on that. FDTB, I like it with the little arrow. It looks good. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what else we got. There's a good watch list. We'll get through that, Noli. Let's get to the action. Looks like Scott's taking a look at a recent runner, CTNT.
Yeah. I was looking at this yesterday afternoon. Unfortunately, not yesterday evening, because if I had been looking at it yesterday evening, you'd have been seeing something kind of like that after hours.
Wow, what a move in the after hours.
Literally ripped in the after hours and has literally come all the way back down. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
That's actually to say it lightly, man. That's a turn like none other. That's a GME move.
It closed at 15, around about 15, and then before you knew it, it was up there at 44. And then before you know it, let's just see if it did that. Then before you know it, it was like the little play I liked. So that pull back and foul, look, there it was. And then off back from 40s all the way down to $8. I'm not sure I can touch that today unless it really screams out on volume on the open. It was done, wasn't it? This is what I say about post-market and pre-market. That's where they pre-position themselves. That's where the business can be done. And once it's done, there's no need for it to do anything else in the pre-market, but we will keep an eye on that Varia. So good shout out. Massive move yesterday. And we'll see what happens on the open on that one this morning.
All right, looking around, guys, trying to find some different types of plays. And I do want to mention some more news, like always. There's so much out there, guys. And if you guys ever have a catalyst you guys want us paying attention to, or something that is drawing your attention, please let us know. That's what we're all about. We're definitely going to cover those stocks. Let me go through one more, and then we can go through some of the lists that Noli put up there. I do see some interesting names there. So let's go ahead. The last one that I kind of wanted to mention was, of course, Lamb Research, LRCX. And this one's an important one because it's doing a split here. So they announced this split that will close on October 2nd. So they just announced it today. It's not split today, but it's a 10-for-1 stock split, and announcing a 10 billion buyback authorization. So this is something definitely to watch. This is what is being talked about with NVIDIA. Some people are thinking that maybe NVIDIA does the same. Will it do a split? I think that might be what's needed for NVIDIA, right? So that more traders can continue to trade it. Maybe they can do, I don't know, maybe a 5-for-1 or a 10-for-1, and then this could get back into like the 100 range or slightly below the 100. Maybe that's the move for NVIDIA to continue moving forward and getting to that 1,000 price range. But definitely NVIDIA, something definitely to watch. We'll be taking an eye on it. And seeing what happens there. But definitely smash the like, guys. It's been a great day already because, hey, when it's the morning and ready to trade, it's already a great day. I'm ready to get after it. Let's go through that list that Noli has right here. Noli has a great list here. Lowell on there. DG. Let's take a look at that one. Dollar General, discount stores. Lately, something that I've been kind of keeping an eye out for. Of course, defensive names were taking a hit yesterday. But overall, discount stores have been hot. Costco's been leading the way with that move. You can see it here. Nice little move on Costco. Walmart also is being the leader. It's been holding up and higher since the gap. Target has been something that I've been watching to see if it really wants to start coming back, but still struggling right now. Dollar Tree also on the struggles. Ollie's. Seems like the cheaper names are just not doing that great right now. So it's something to keep on watch. Nothing that I'm going to jump at right now, but DG just hanging out there. What's going on? What's going on?
GTBP.
Oh, man.
Look at it.
Look, show me that thing, man.
It is literally.
Wow. Wow.
You couldn't do it quick enough. Could not do it quick enough. Look at that on the 1 minute.
It's not even open market. What happened there? They had to announce like that looks like an offering to me or something, man.
It's an offering. It's an offering. Yeah.
It's an offering. You
1
see,
minute
like,
ago, they've announced the offering. Right at the bogey level, though. Why would you?
The crazy part is it was going up to 15 this morning. Like, Holy moly, that
That's
thing
what I mean.
dropped like a tank.
Don't tell me there's not a job to do there to get whoever's
Lord,
got shares in
man.
at 15.
The
and then
PR
do the
guy was
offering.
just watching the price action. That guy knows some technical analysis.
Yeah, he does. He knows them levels, man. He knows them levels.
He knows them levels. Scott, what a move,
That's
man. We
done.
were just talking about this stock. This is the type of penny move where sometimes like you want to trade these fast movers, right? Because like, I mean, I can't blame you guys, right? You can make and lose money on these, but sometimes there's some that are just so risky. I'm going to classify GTBP as in that so risky stage because yesterday we saw a tear up gap, like, you know, halt, then it opened lower and then halted down. So that just tells me GTBP, you're on the banned list in my eyes. In my trading book, you're on the banned list, GTBP. I'm not trading you. Do whatever you want. Go down back to 1 or go back up to 30. I'm leaving you alone. You're just trying to give me a heart attack, man.
It's the same pattern they all do. It just done it all, right? Just done it all in 24 hours here. It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. Scott, you got profits on that? Oh, you're savage, Scott. Way to get after it, man. I couldn't do it. I'll tell you that much.
Nice one, Scott.
Yeah, definitely. Way to cut after it, man. Let's keep going, guys. What do you guys got out there? There's so much on the tape today. We got to keep it going. Let's see what else we can come up with here. Edible, I think, is out there. Have you seen that one? That's set up today, Scott. ETL. Taking a look at that one. Edible Garden. Showing up on the scanner. And this is another one after hours. Just went bananas. This is something to kind of keep an eye out for. We'll see what happens on this one. Edible Gardens. It's had a couple of spikes recently, but hasn't held the spike. We'll see if it starts to come back. The Edible Garden. Where's that liquidity pool? We're right on it, right?
We're right on the liquidity pool. Yeah, it's a sell side. It's a sell side on the what was that? It was the pre-market. Yeah, smacked into the sell side. Comes straight off on the buy side now. Again, this is kind of a second attempt up there, so we'll see if it's got anything coming out of here. This might just be the backside to look for a short today, but if we do pop to 7 or 8, late 7s, early 8s, that could be a nice area to short EDBL if we can get it on day 2.
Well, I got a special surprise for you. Somebody's here. Hit that alarm. Let's go. Let's bring them in. How we doing, Tim? It's good to see you. Good morning, my friend.
Hey, good to be here as well. Good. I already even unmuted myself coming in, so I'm up already on track here.
There you go. 2 points for Tim to start the day. Let's get after the action. How you doing, Tim?
It's been kind of a crazy morning, but I'm excited. Yesterday was looking interesting. I was sort of in and out through the day, but I did see that there's some idea that it sounds like the Ethereum spot ETF is closer to getting approved. So crypto has been very interesting. And you were mentioning Target. So, I mean, once you said that, obviously, you know, one of my go-tos have to come in. Bark, interestingly, looks like it's up a little bit. That's one of my that was originally in conjunction with Target. But also an interesting one. Did you look at Z-Lab already?
Z-Lab. I'll take a look at that.
Zulu Lima Alpha Bravo. So they apparently got approval from the Chinese regulator. It's for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And another one that was showing up on the heat map sector-wise was EAR. I'm not quite sure what their story is, but it's a memorable ticker, so it's one of those that probably, if they get moving, they're...
that Z-Lab seems interesting, but...
Oh, actually, no, this isn't healthcare related at all. I think they must have... I think the scanner picked it up mistake. It's apparently Japanese industrial machinery, but they might be moving a little bit, so...
A lot of action out there, like always, and we'll be watching. What'd you think about GME now that it's hung out for a couple of days, Tim? It's not done much.
I mean, I shorted it yesterday. My timing was just off. My feeling on this whole move in general is just, everything wants to sort of rip. There's some upward pressure, but I feel like it was an obvious bear trap, so it was sort of a less obvious bull trap. If that makes sense. I felt like it was getting ready to do a double inverse switcheroo, and it seemed like yesterday, at least the things I was watching did pull back the part where I was watching them. But I'm still actually putting my ideas together for today. I mean, GameStop in general, right? Like so much was based off of that. Whoa! I'm just looking at. I didn't see the chart at the end of the day. Wow.
Yeah,
right,
a little bit.
No, I have no idea what's going on there, but to me, the whole thing is just unless Roaring Kitty comes out with some actual, doing a show or something, like unless he does something that definitively says he's bullish on it, I expect we'll just back to continued fizzling. And in fact, that's what I'm seeing in the. There was a squeeze. Looks like there was a squeeze end of day. Am I sharing? I'm not. But yeah, it looks like there was a squeeze end of day. Kind of ran up after hours, and then already dribbling back down today. So that's kind of what
I'm looking to see if we can get some new tweets or something, man. Roaring Kitty, where you at, man? You're hiding it out there. We need you back.
Well, he's tweeting. None of them say anything, but they're hilarious.
Oh, yeah,
certainly worth watching the feed, but and if you look in the comments,
what is this, Bernard?
Everyone can find all the hidden messages in there, so no problem.
They're hilarious. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but definitely take a look at that feed. You get stuff like this, and it's just hilarious. The GameStop bear thesis.
Oh wow! Okay, I didn't see that one. All right.
I love this stuff, man. I swear, you can't make this stuff up.
It doesn't look like anything to me, right? Like that's got to be the punchline on that one.
Oh, doesn't look like anything, guys. We'll see if it doesn't look like anything today, guys. I'll tell you one thing. I'm watching it. I'm keeping it on the radar. One thing I've said, and I said this yesterday, I'm going to continue to do it. Above 24, it starts to trigger my interest. Like, I can let it stay in this range, but wait for it to break out of the range, and then I'll look for a quick dip buy. That's what I'll be watching. We'll see what happens on GameStop. All right, it's 9:23, guys. It's going to be also a big retail week too, but I like to mention there, Tim, of the Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that action. So definitely take a look at the miners. Mara yesterday, big rip up. I think this is in play today without a doubt. So you're going to have people watching this. Riot is another one that you can watch with these. Clean Spark. There's so many that you can watch. I actually like this Clean Spark chart. I don't know if you guys have traded CLSK before. But definitely look at this nice little setup here. Multiple times has tried to get above this kind of like 19-20 range. Has had spikes into the 20s, even up to 24.80s. So let's see if we can get through 20 today and really start to push there. CLSK, Clean Spark. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's keep it going, team. If you guys got trades that you guys want to talk about, I know that there's some NVIDIA news out there with NTNX. So if you guys are wondering what's going on with NVIDIA and action out there, NTNX announcing a collaboration to accelerate enterprise AI adoption. Wouldn't you know it? This came out of Bloomberg, but NVIDIA definitely kind of shaky this morning. And I think this has a lot to do with kind of the earnings, right? They could try to shake some traders out, some bull traders out, especially yesterday. A lot of traders probably getting caught with this washout in the morning. We'll see what happens on NVIDIA and how that will affect the market. Look at the market right now, starting to drop pretty fast here. Let's see if the opening action gets us to come back. But we are starting to pull back a little bit, but it's a small pullback. So for right now, it's kind of more paying attention to what happens out the open.
And I'm
How do you guys see the
looking
market?
at you mentioned Target, going back to Target again. Like,
let's do it.
To dig into the actual chart, but they, I've been looking for a pullback for them to actually pick up. So we'll see what happens.
Did we fill the gap yet, Tim?
I don't know. Let's take a look.
I think it just got there yesterday. Let me see. The high here, 155.54. 155.68. So almost there.
Almost there. Yeah, I have on the 155, and then.
So this is a strategy I talk about often, where a stock will do that gap fill, and then they'll do an undercut and rally. So what's the undercut and rally? And I'll get to your question, future day trader. So the undercut and rally is an important level, like a shadow, a support, or something like that. Then what we look for is high volume on that day to show us that some buying came in, and then a quick whip action back up. So that's what I'm going to be looking for in Target. give me a cut down through this shadow zone coming into this range here, and then come right back up with some good volume to show me that buyers might have bought in through that support, and now it wants to start working its way back. And then eventually I'd be looking for something like a trend line break back up here towards the 170. So this is something that I definitely have on the radar. And one thing that's telling me to also keep it on watch, the volume starting to increase into it, which could be that undercut and rally look. And then the MACD, look at the MACD. It's gone from the top all the way to the bottom, now can turn and get back over that zero line. Will look pretty good there on target. So Tim, I'm watching it, man.
I've got it on my screen as well. If I can show.
Let's take a look. I like this. Yeah. What you got?
So this is where that Renko chart can come into play again and be handy. So you can see these are some old lines here, but you can see in certain ways it's still if this were an upward channel, it's still well below there. And this, right here, what I'm seeing is inverted cup and handle. Now the Renko is great because, just as a recap for everyone, this is one that does not take time into account. It's purely based on basically a change in direction, and then it kind of filters out the angles too. So if I delete these old I think it's time to do that, but you can see this range that it popped up and out of. To me, it could get potentially all the way back in here to this 136 area. Like, let me go ahead and clear these old levels out. And then, oh, you know what? I don't have my...
Bonjour, Smoke Tuna out there, man. This is one of my favorite guys out there. He's a great trader. Good to see you out there, Smoke Tuna.
Yeah, and so you can see here, this is this level that just like and this is, keep in mind, this is regardless of inflation. So it just hasn't been able to get above this level here since August of 22. We had this little pop above, but I bet you, even if I draw just from this level up here down to there, what's this? Oh yeah, here's a 161. It came up just above, and it got to this 161, rejected, 161, rejected, right? So if I now go back in here, same thing. I'll just tighten this up a little bit, but these are now the levels I'm looking at. I think this is pretty well established. If I wanted, I could maybe say, okay, here's, that's an extension below, but I think this whole range is in play, right? I think everything above 100 is probably in play. So we're still, we could easily come down to catch this 61 level, and then come down to equilibrium and just try that again. And in fact, that's where it came down to before. There's a lot here. So I'm looking for it to try to catch here if we get sort of a double bottom here. But to be honest, I think we will see upside on target. But from a business standpoint too, they've got some work to do. They're getting more revenue focused, shall we say? But they've got work to do there. And I think from a chart perspective too. We need to see more there before we can have a confirmed catch. So,
all right, guys, I do want to update you at least on that Intel position. I know someone's been asking about it in the chat too. So I just cut it just because it was like 2 cents off of my entry here, and I have a feeling we might get a little bit of a dip. If we just get a gap and go, like it just starts to just push here or something like that, that's fine. But I don't want to get caught with a quick dip to 31.75s, and then I have to add there and looking for the push back up through that 32.25. But 32, such an important level, 1000% future day trading. So I'll be watching that 32 key level to see if we could get back up. Yesterday, my mentality was a move to 32.50, and we're still holding in there. We got a little bit of a push. It got up there all the way up to 32.42, just didn't get to that 32.50. Let's see if we can take off today, get through that 32.50. That'd be a great sign on the daily. And this is also a fill the shadow zone, like kind of like we did on target the opposite way. Now I'm looking for the move back, right? And there was a good amount of volume below this. So let's see if we can start to fill this gap back up. Eventually, that could be a move towards 34.50. I like the mentality in this trade. That's Intel. We'll see what happens there.
I'm looking also a couple things that come to mind, just remembering what I was looking at yesterday. So 2 things. First of all, on the crypto front, again, I would say keep an eye on Coinbase and on Robinhood. Robinhood had that, if I remember correctly, they had sort of a pop-off earnings and then kind of really sold off. Now we're past, I'd say a little past that, what would you say, 3-day rule. And so I'm looking for potentially upside on Robinhood. They had a little
All
attempt
right.
last night.
Let's get after it, guys. We're open. Let's go. See what we can come up with.
And Coinbase also was they've been sort of pushing the envelope on the regulatory front. They've got the futures, and they actually added Dogecoin futures lately. So I think if we start seeing more room open up in that space, they will be one to watch as well. But on the ag front as well, if AVO, which is Mission Produce, they do avocados, and wow, they actually rejected. But Dole had a good pop too. So I think Dole is one to DOLE pineapple folks. So
yeah, get those pineapples, man.
Short avocado, long pineapple. There's my spread today, folks.
I like it. Get after it, guys. Let's see what we can come up with. Intel opening up. You guys let me know any of the small names moving. I know Scott's will be all over those. Let me know what you guys see out there, traders. Q's pulling back to start here. I'm looking at the overall market. That's another reason why I sold that Intel. It's just a little weak here towards the open. I'm looking to see if we can get a recovery here. If not, I could get a dip buy to get into some of these names. So I'm going to continue to watch. BDRX doesn't look too bad. Just bounce off that 220 spot. A lot of resistance in this 250, but just keep it on watch out there, team. All right, yeah, watching Intel here. It's starting to hold that 32. Doesn't look too bad, but it's just kind of like not moving, right? I'm looking for that nice little push here. It's just holding in here this morning. It's not really moving much. Let's look around. Let's see what else is moving. I see Tesla in the green. There's Tesla there, guys. 177, starting to make a little bit of a move. This was actually got hit hard yesterday. Sideways action. Ooh, right off that support. It has potential, guys, and it's been holding this gap. So there's been time for, let's say, traders to get in. This is not a bad one. I'm going to look for a pullback here back towards 175.50s. 175.50s. I wouldn't mind take a shot on a little bit of a VWAP bounce trade. Let's get after it, team. I'll catch you guys in the chat. You guys see anything? Let me know. Q's starting to come back a little bit there. Intel now starting to get that lift and nice little push there to 32.18. So I'm going to look for a little bit of a pullback here. Maybe 32.10s can join the party. But at least it's not a bad one that was on my radar. Now starting to really get a lift here. And maybe I was a little bit picky on that cut this morning. Just looking back, hindsight 2020. But let's see what happens here in Intel this morning. BDRX rejecting that 250 again. MMAT starting to make a little bit of an up move through 3. That one's not a bad one to watch there. Keep your eyes on that. XPEV having a nice little jump up as China EVs, some had earnings this morning, was getting a little bit of a lift. Intel just straight up here, and it could keep going straight up. We'll see what happens. I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback here back towards like the 3205, 3208s, then can jump in. Yesterday, I was able to get a nice short at the end of the day on CGC, but it's getting a little bit of a pop this morning, so that's interesting. Cannabis starting to make a little move. Let's see. Always just look at MSOS. Not much right now. We'll see later. What you guys got out there, Scott?
No, I'm looking at MMAT as well.
Okay.
Let's have a look. MMAT, yeah, I think has got room up there to at least 360, 380. CING was also on the CING was also on the go. So this MMAT straight out the buy side got tape action on there. So that's pushing up out of the 288. See if we can get 360. Where's the VWAP on that? Right into it now. So if we pull back to 290, that'll be okay. Anywhere below there, not really interested. You could end up holding it all afternoon. But just looking for that quick push now up to the 360s for me. And then I think it was a one and done now. But have a look at CING was on the radar just before we opened, but Yeah, it was yeah, it only like it was a 120 stock. Like I said, I'm not too keen on those $1 plays, but as you look for those levels as they come in, that was pretty much straight into the benchmark to a pop up above by about 5 cents and then straight back down from it. So not looking for anything else on that, I don't think, to the upside unless it's back on the scanners. What else we have? I think that's not, it's pretty quiet on the scanners right now. EDBL still up there, but don't really like that. Yeah, no, I'm just looking to see now if there's anything above 3 relative volume right now that comes up on a momentum scanner there, Mitch.
Yeah, I'm looking around right now. I do see utilities leading the market. I always like to focus on sectors and industries. I'll tell you guys right now what's leading from the open: utilities, healthcare, financial services. What's in the red? In the red, industrials, basic materials, real estate. You do got energy on a little bit of a small pullback, but nothing really just breaking to either direction. Utilities definitely on the radar, as I've been talking about that for a long time. XLU is one way to play this. I'm looking right now at Excel Energy. So I would look for like 56 right above here, 56, maybe 56.10s, and then for it to hold 56 on the daily chart, just for a push up on the daily to start working its way back towards 57. But with this one, since it's a smaller move, I'd have to go bigger sizing if I want to attack this one. It's not a bad one to watch though for me. Kind of like this little dip here. I might take a shot here off the 56.10s here. I'll let it undercut and then come back.
So, did you mention Citius already? CTXR?
I don't think we have.
Let's see. Yeah, reported top line results of phase 3 clinical trial of Minolock, which is a antibiotic lock solution for catheters. Wow, I remember this actually. I've seen it lately, of course, but I remember. I have to go back and check, but I think this has been a healthcare meme for a couple of years now. But yeah, they reported results, met its primary endpoint with the statistically significant improvement in time to failure event compared to control arms. So, again, infections, obviously huge deal. Sepsis, nosocomial or hospital acquired infections, right? Those are huge. So anything that can make a dent there, lots of potential. Let me actually get in a little closer here. We can see what's going on here. I have to see which direction it goes there, but that is a big, let's see, what did that go from? 66 cents to 79 cents, actually close to 80. So
looking around, team, trying to find some good plays out there. I do see CGC's hot a little bit. Looking around, Macy's starting to come back after a little bit of dip into the 1950s. Maybe that can break 20 today. Definitely will watch that. And if that breaks 20 retail, definitely on watch for me. XRT is one way that you can play that. Actually like the XRT play today.
And then BDRX, Biodexa Pharmaceuticals, announced clinical trial data of Arapa in familial adenomatous polyposis, which leads to colon cancer. I looked that up. But yeah, so
I'll give it to you.
83% non-progression rate and a decrease in polyp burden at 6 months. So
I'll give it to you for even attempting to read that one, Tim.
In my head, I was lined up and ready to go, but
those are those words that when you were young as a kid, you're like, I'm gonna skip this one.
Oh, here we go. This one, let's see here. So weight loss, that sector is big. RSLS, Reshape Life Sciences. FDA nice. 510K clearance for its Reshape calibration tubes and gastric balloon suction catheter. So let's see, integrated system for endoscopic placement, which means that sounds like it'll be simpler and easier and faster to get that weight loss solution improved. Obviously, weight loss, huge sector lately. We're starting to hear a little bit more about the side effects of Ozempic and those GLP-1 things. So
yeah, that's why Hims was ripping yesterday. Tim, you saw that one? Hims was ripping off.
I heard it. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but wow. Okay.
Yeah, big move yesterday. Now kind of sideways action, but what was it? It was an alternative to Ozempic. I think it was for like $200 or something. It was a lot cheaper, right? So that's why Hims was ripping yesterday, but just something to put on the radar.
Just out of MMAT, just went buy side to sell side, so just covered that, added in the middle there as well. So yeah, nice trade on MMAT.
Intel back into that area, so I'll let you know
it sounds like it is the GLP-1. It's just generic, maybe.
Yeah. Hey Tim, you let me know, man, if you find trades like that. Those are definitely interesting plays. Here's Intel trying to wash out some traders, come back to 31.88. I like this buy now. I can go after it right off that bottoming action and hold off of that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go at it pretty hard here. Let's go 300 shares. Just grab some there long at 32. So I got 32.01s. Now I can hold off that bottoming 88. And so if it goes through that 88, I'm completely out. So I can go ahead and just set a stop here. Just to be smart, I'm going to give it a little bit of room. But I'm going to do 31.81 here and just set a stop and let it work. We'll see what happens there, guys. It just got right back into Intel after that dip. Now I want an XRT on this dip here as it bottoms out. I'm going to be looking for that one. You guys keep coming after. Let's see what you guys got. And always throw up stocks that you guys are watching in the chat. We'll keep an eye on it.
I know you don't like it, but it's on the tape coming out of that buy side pool.
Oh, you're a savage, Scott. You're a savage. It's on my ban list, but hey, that doesn't mean that you can't trade it.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about, man. Find what works for you. I won't be mad at you.
How about this one? You plugged into this Silo?
Silo.
Yeah. So they just announced positive results for depression. And I'm guessing this is intranasal ketamine, if I had to guess. So that's going to be...
Whoa, that's interesting.
That'll be
meow,
interest, I'm pretty sure. And we've got quite a range. What was this? This was, pre-market. So all the way down to $1.59 and up to $2.48. Strong out of the gate. Little volume pop here, decreasing, but looking good. Now, it looks like we have not met our volume threshold yet, if I had to guess. So... Oh, no, we just have, so off to the races.
All right, guys, looking around, Intel pulling back a little bit there, now 31.95. I'll let you guys know if I do get a stop through that level, but just watching right now. And then watching to see if XRT starts working its way back. Excel. Missed that one, guys. I was starting to look at some other ones. 56.10 was the area that I was looking for. And look at this, guys. 56.10 right on the bottom right there, back to 56.30s. And what I like about this one is look at the daily chart. So it did this kind of like undercut on the hourly where it looked bad on the small time frames, but on the hourly, it's been holding pretty well here. So not a bad one on Excel Energy. Missed that one, but hey, it's how it goes. XLU can be another way to play this kind of utilities move. We'll see what happens there. And utilities leading the market, and also healthcare now leading the market. So we've been talking about biotechs and we've been talking about utilities. Not bad areas to be right now.
Tesla's completed its benchmark at the moment. At least there is benchmark 2 above it, but yeah, from the pre-market lows there, swinging up straight into 179 at the minute. Looking, just drilling down the time frame. Yeah, it's double topping there. That's also sell side liquidity. It's very wide, but this is one that I wanted yesterday, in fact, but it just it didn't give it to us yesterday. But it's a day late. It's for me. It's given it to us today, so we'll see if this sell side holds, or we continue to run on Tesla. But it's kind of overextended right now, but it still looks like it's got legs.
The one and only Mighty Soldiers trades out there, guys. Smash the like. It's good to see you guys in here. J-Dub, what are you going after? GJT? All right. It's good to see some new faces in the chat. Definitely say hello. Excel, man. I'm gonna kick myself on that Excel. Because the reason why I like these types of plays is that like this isn't going to go down 30 or 60% in 2 seconds. So this is kind of a little bit more of your kind of consistent play. Duke is also on the radar. You got You can look at Dominion, SO, but look how they're all going up. This is what I like to catch, these types of moves where it's like an industry-wide or a sector-wide move. And what I mean sector-wide, look at all the industries. They're all up this morning. This is what I try to catch a lot of the times. If I can catch these types of moves, I can look for laggard types of moves, right? Like maybe it's a water play. Maybe it's AWK, American Water Works. When's the last time you guys traded a water stock? Sometimes the boring stuff, man. The boring stuff can make you good money. And I'm seeing a clear trend in utilities. And that's been since I started here, guys. We were noting that in early May. And look at how that's just been slowly climbing and climbing.
All right, so Silo, I'm actually looking at this. So a couple things interesting about them. So they actually have an interesting pipeline. They've got more than one thing. It's not just the ketamine. And if I look on the chart here, they had a positive. Let's see, oops, where's my thing here? But I'm seeing here it's basically at a it caught here on the midline of this pre-market move, and it's pushing up past the 61 fib, so that's nice for support. In the channel, we're still on the bottom side of an upwards channel. Obviously zoomed in here, but things looking positive to me. And they have a tiny float, let's see, the market cap 5.7 million and the float is 2.6 million. So with the positive news, that could be really strong.
All right, starter in XRT to the long side, guys. So starting a trade on XRT to the long. The long side. I'm looking for pullbacks towards the 75.50s and 75.40s for ads. I'll show you guys that right quick here. So you see the MACD also, the turn. I was looking for that hammer candle style bottom. Exactly what I got there. Hammer candy. That's what they call it out there. I heard the hammer candy. Hollow on the loose. All right, that's one to kind of keep an eye out. I trust my smoked tuna out there. I'll take a look at it for sure. HOLO, one that's on the radar. Why not? I'll take a look at it. Not looking too bad off that $2. We'll look to see if we get a spike there. There's not much there right now, but hey, the hourly chart has a nice looking chart that went to 4 recently. A lot of bottoming in the 190s, and Smoke Tuna loves those hourly charts like I do. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one. HOLO, micro cloud hologram. It's one that I'll keep a watch for sure. All right, XRT looking good there. I'm looking for pullbacks here to add, but have not gotten back to the 75.40s. Intel might stop me out here in just a second, guys. Yep, triggered out there. Loss on Intel, $67 down. Let's keep battling, guys. I'm here to battle today. Carlos, what's going on, man? Smash the like. Good to see you in the chat. All right, guys, definitely let us know. And coming up at 10:30, we even do trades that you guys call the shots. So stick around, guys. We'll get to that action. And there's a lot going on in the tape today. Tesla, one of the leaders, definitely. That's going to be one to watch for pullbacks. I'm looking for pullbacks on Tesla back to 176. If it could get back there into that 176 range, I will take a shot off 174. But I always look for quick wipeouts on Tesla to try to catch those pullbacks. LI being mentioned in the chat, one to keep an eye out for. XRT, come on. How's Macy's? Macy's could trade with that XRT. It's pulling back at the time being right now. A lot of wicks down here, so I'm looking to see if we get some buying, and then all of a sudden shoot back up to 20. You guys bullish or bearish on Tesla? Carlos is asking. Take a look at it. At least overall, I think it's for me right now, it's like on a nice hourly hold after this shadow. We talked about it a little bit early. So if it can really get above this area, there's a resistance right around, let's say, the 180 spot, then I can see it. Yeah, that's a nice little bullish push. But that's 180. So now I'd be looking for pullbacks to 176 to 175, looking to jump on the moving averages. You see the exponential moving averages right here, kind of in that spot is where I'd be looking for myself. Somewhere in this spot here for pullbacks. Pan W being mentioned in the chat. That had earnings, right? Let's see how that's doing. Oof, look at that. Nice little push to the upside. That one could affect different ones like CrowdStrike. Look at that. CrowdStrike with a little bit of red to green. I always like to know the relationship plays, right? Snow could be a surprising move off of it, but we'll see what happens there. And then Cyber is another one. CYBR. God, you know those relationships, guys. This one's an interesting one off that Pan W move. Kicking it to you guys. What do you guys got out there? All right, seeing a little bit of a pullback here in XRT gives me that ability to maybe take a buy. See if I can get it down here towards the 45s and 40s. All right, let's see what's going on in Excel.
Just covering MMAT again, still buy side liquidity pull out there again, pulled back, bounced straight back off to that sell side again. So kind of another 50, 60 cents on that trade. So just going to keep drawing these in every time it comes on the take, taking another one. And you never know, we might get a break of that 380 area and get a rip to run. If not, I'll be looking for one of these buy sides to break and then trying to look at the backside this afternoon if that's the way it's going to play. But if not, we've still got a 450 level up there on MMAT if it wants to go for it. Need that volume on the tape for that. Sorry, Mitch, go.
No, you're more than good, man. I'm looking around. I see that edible, but man, big wick on that thing. It's hard to go after it, but definitely seems kind of interesting off this $5 spot. But you'd have to be really tight with it. We'll see what happens on that one. Recently was up there almost to 6. It's kind of interesting me off the 490s, but I need to see some buying come in here. I'm not seeing too much right now. That Excel was probably the best play for me this morning. Just didn't grab that 56.10 pullback because I just like the consistent plays. That to me is a consistent play, especially when I'm seeing utilities rise like this. Healthcare not doing too bad. Financial services in the green. What's in the red still? Well, you got industrials leading the downside action, basic materials, cyclicals. So that's struggling, definitely. A little bit of mixed noise in the cyclical.
Target is still red technically, but it's pushing fast. I did get in on that. I will flip short if needed, but it looks like it is strong out of the gate. Don't know about other retail. And ARM also. You mentioned some of the semis. So
okay,
that one is
interesting names.
I have a trend line that it looks like it's trying to get back up towards. Semis in general look strong. Strength in Rumble as well, just as a side note.
Rumble.
But I don't have let me turn off extended hours now and I can see what it's.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too bad on Rumble. Looking around, guys. XRT just hanging out here. I'm still waiting for a little bit lower trend to add on XRT.
There you go. That looks like it's like attempting to reclaim this trend line here. So if it does, it can get back up to 780, 789. It's a nice number. Target looking good.
Not seeing much right now, guys. I'm looking around, but
an ARM is one of those, even on a big account. It's kind of quiet for a while, but lately, you know, it moves big moves on relative to the price. So even on a large account, small trades are the way to go.
EDBL splitting up there now above fives, but man, the spread gets wide and that gets tough. And there's only 12,000 shares trading on the 1 minute. So I'm going to try to stay off of it just because of the low volume there. CTNT is one that I'd watch more because there's more volume at least in that, but also just hanging out here, not doing much. Did it halt on the downside action? Yeah, I think it did. Whew. That's a tough one, man. That thing went up to $40 in after hours yesterday. That's crazy. That was such a crazy move. All right, looking around, guys, seeing what trades are making moves out there. Tesla in the 178s and holding on right now. We'll see if it does do a little bit of a pullback. Let me take a look at the Qs. Qs are starting to come back. This morning they were dipping. SPY is also, so that doesn't look too bad. And yeah, I'm still kicking myself a little bit on Excel as that's up there to 5650s, looking pretty good. Peloton getting crushed. Yeah, Peloton is. What's up?
Oh, this is interesting. SLGL, so Sigel. They reported, it looks like they reported earnings, see, Monday Monday morning, actually. Yeah. So they reported Monday morning, surprise to the downside on earnings and revenue. They actually kind of held steady, and then they're up a little bit today. HC Wainwright still has a price to, it was $9, now it's $6. So they're still not quite 10x anymore potential, but it's kind of interesting that it's pushing strongly. I'm not sure why, unless other than people just trying to squeeze things. So they do have cash until second half of next year. So Twinio dermatology. Okay, so dermatology treatment for severe skin conditions, acne, and other things. They've recently licensed that in China and Israel. So, that could be one to watch. There's no reason for them to. Oh, I'm sorry, I had the wrong window again. That's the wrong window too.
GTBP, man. I'm trying not to short it, Scott. I try to listen to myself here. I'm trying.
What about Disney? Actually, I'm seeing.
No, he said it. He said it.
He said it. He said it. Sound the Disney alarm. Sound the Disney alarm.
I knew we wouldn't have to wait long.
We can't. Tim, we're already planning a Disney trip without you, even on stream. You don't even know this, but we're already planning it. We got it in the works. We need that Disney trade.
It's interesting to see what is now. What is this 10-minute chart? But look at this. These specific. We got Disney, Pfizer, Amgen, and Colgate. BAC a little bit being the ones popping and dropping right there. Like, I can't figure out the connection other than that they're in the lower left hand of my screen, which I can't imagine to.
That's correlation right there, right?
That is. Starting to see more things start bleeding now, though. So.
Yeah, a little bit of a mixed noise today. Industrials red, and the only thing kind of leading is utilities. That was a trend that I found really quickly, and that's continued to go up. But other than that, even things that are up are only up 0.17. That's very low, right? So I always talk about sectors. Why do you see utilities here? Then the next one is 0.17. A lot on the weak side, industrials. So it's kind of like a mixed noise market right now. Utilities kind of leading the way.
Speaking of sectors, let me ask this, because we were talking about Dole earlier. We were talking about AVO. So do you look at the ag stuff at all? What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I can take a look at that. So I go to I use the indexes here, right? So it goes under farm products for me, right? And so let's take a look at the daily. Daily has a nice little bunch up, so you can see how the trend came back. This is kind of like that trend coming back and trying to break through. So there's a lot of resistance right above it. Seems to me like this is going to need probably like an earnings stock or something to like really get it through this level. But farm products overall, if we take a look at some of the leaders, Archer, Daniel, Midland, could start to come fill this gap back to 68. That's one definitely to watch. Tyson, a lot of bunching up around the 61. You got Calm, CALA, Calmain Foods. This one actually looks pretty interesting as it's kind of done this little peak before to 64 and it's looking back to the 60s today. These are in play. I would definitely see them in play. Dole specifically, I'd look at the daily and I'd be like, okay, well, this is kind of making that cup and handle approach. I would like for it to make a little bit of a handle, come back to the 9 EMA, and then get that third attempt through 1332s, breaking through the 1350s. But not a bad area to kind of keep a watch.
One we were looking at that was really interesting. We were looking at it in one of our Discord discussions last week. Was with all the I don't know if you've been following chocolate prices, but they were up crazy high. They finally pulled back. Yep. So we were that's why
one to watch going into October, and I always love this trade. It's kind of an interesting one. Is you look into September and the month right before, right? So September, August, you have a tendency of getting Hershey's to go up, and that's why. Because Halloween, baby. Halloween trade coming up soon, guys. I'll keep an eye out on that one as we get closer and closer.
Yeah.
You like that
we had
one?
Easter, right? The Easter and then Halloween would be the other chocolate.
Exactly.
You know what's funny, though? We were looking at... So we ended up digging into Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory, which looked like garbage. The CEO quit. The CFO quit. The interim CEO then quit. But... we were looking at it, and it seems like if they manage somehow to ride out the commodities prices, which were not listed as a factor, they could sort of have a surprise upwards. But other than that, it looks like hot garbage. But it's funny. I was going to ask actually. I'm like, do you know any other chocolate names? And you got an index right there for us, so that's great.
Yeah. That's
the hilarious thing is I was like
use.
Trying to think, and Hershey didn't even come to mind. I don't know how, but it should.
Yeah, and then you got Mondelez that would come into play, right? And so that's actually the leader. And look at this takeoff right now. So Mondelez MDLZ would be the leader
and
in
for
that
those
space.
that don't know, they do Oreos, right?
Yeah, they do it all, man.
Like
they have a
lot of the Nabisco stuff is actually Mondelez.
Yeah, yep. I agree, Scott. It's definitely a recessionary too. Plays that you got to know your relationships, guys. If you ever want to know a relationship, hit me up. That's what I'm all about, guys. I'm always looking to try to find, like, is there a sector that's making a move? And is there a specific industry that's making a move? Because when we can catch moves like that, that's when I feel like that's bread and butter. What you're doing is you're trading with big money, essentially looking at what big money's looking at, which is sectors and industries. That's the only way they can kind of trade, because they have to get so big that you usually are going to have to split their money up in either maybe it's the top 5 or the top 10, right, in each industry. And that tells me enough. When I see Eli Lilly going higher, Johnson & Johnson up, Merck up, right, AZN, NVS, Amgen, all these kind of pointing to the upside, Pfizer. So things like that I start to kind of hone in on and trying to grab that edge that we're all looking for.
MMAT still going on a bit of a ripper on this out of that buy side pull down here at 316 up at 420s. Just looking back from pre-market though, there was a sell side liquidity pull for about sitting that it's just kind of run into now. So obviously when we get these breaks of the sell sides at 380s, we get the momentum come in. You heard it on the tape, and then we've got one here now at 418, so a little pullback would be nice. I've got a buy side pull. This is the most recent one from this low to this high. So just seeing if we get another go at it. If they come back into this area now, put a little alert on there, and see if we can get another go at it. But it's benchmark 2 was there. We hit it yesterday. So if we can get, it's either a retest, we're trying for a retest of that, or we've got more to go to the upside if we can break 460. But we need this buy side to hold, and if the sell side fails, we've got more upside. Just having a look at Tesla as well. Long Tesla at the moment, and okay, I'm seeing that volume come in at the top here, long from this buy side pull up there. It's just a huge area. I'm not quite sure if we've got it. I'll see if I can keep it with the momentum plays, but there's definitely some kind of exhaustion volume coming on there. A little wick. See what happens there. on Tesla.
LRMR, lrmr Therapeutics, looks like they are potentially catching here. It looks like the FDA lifted a hold on their nervous system disorder treatment. So that came down.
Okay.
It popped up in a second. So it popped in the aftermarket yesterday, came kind of dribbled down, came down to test this previous. It had this area here, actually came all the way back. It wicked down to the area it was trading in Monday and Friday, and now it looks like it's catching, and this is that's the 200 EMA right there. So that could be one to look at. Yeah, looks like it's holding the 200 EMA, so that could be good. And
right.
I did just grab Beyond Meat as well.
Nice.
Because speaking of things that might be able to get back into the game, that is looking like it's holding for the moment.
Dana K short B BDRX. I've got this. This is 3 times our vol today. It's the top relative volume leader at the moment. So just taking a look at it, but it's kind of a spiker on the. It's been doing nothing but spiking. So, Daniel, I think you're short on that, or you're looking for advice on the short. But we don't give advice, obviously. Wrong word to use in a live stream for trading. But yeah, see these pops here. It looks like it's doing the same, isn't it? So I don't know. It's not a great deal of. Let me just drop down a time frame and see what I can get on pre-market or after hours. A look at the session yesterday. Okay, so checking out these volume lows coming in. Yeah, so benchmark 1 definitely in. Let's reduce this down and see if we can find out where benchmark 2 would be.
Now this one is BDRX. While you're looking that up or looking into that, I would say these clinical trial results, I didn't look at the actual study, but 83% non-progression rate at 6 months, and that let's see, P equal to 0.04. So that sounds, at a glance, that sounds quite good. I'm just gonna open it up here, see if I have the right here. So we'll kind of and we can use this just to glance at the catalyst too, do a quick run through. So this is kind of what I skim for, right? Like these guys are always gonna pump up any kind of positive news they had, right? And I think on a previous stream we ran into that. So one of the things I will do, I'm not embarrassed to say, like, I'll go check even like stock twits. I'll check anything just to see if somebody who does know has a reason to poke a hole in it. I didn't see that. But also you have this. So they have what they say is statistically significant results. They will also be presenting at the, Digestive Disease Week annual meeting. So most likely there's not going to be anything new in there, but there could be some, outlook things. A lot of times similar to, Fed speakers, you get the Q&A and somebody will give kind of a hint of what might be coming out there. But if we glance at this, we see here these endpoints, which is basically what their goals are. So right here, this means so P less than 0.05 is what's usually called out as like statistical significance. And I'm going to get this wrong, I'm sure, but it's basically like that means that the odds are less than 5% that you would see this if the treatment wasn't significant.
Yeah.
Outside, but to me, this means,
the bell curve, right?
Yep. And so let's check this out. So this is, colon cancer. The big things that I would look for is basically get a sense of the market. This is things you can do in the background, right? But think about this before just reflexively shorting, right? How much colon cancer is there? What's the market size there? How significant is it? Is this something that's going to be, I don't want to say significant, but is there a potential? Is there a lot of potential here, right? Because that's what it's forward looking. So as long as everything stays positive, and the momentum is there, you can get like the clinical momentum as well as just the stock momentum. Then you can run into that thing where you're going to try to keep shorting it because there's a pop, but there could be a pop for a reason. So there is currently no approved therapeutic option, right? So, this mid-teens, right? So this is, okay, here we go. Reported incidents, 1 in 5,000 to 10,000 in the US. Orphan drug designation, right? So that's something that's usually a key factor. And rapamycin. So yeah, but these are the key things that I look at, right? So safe, let's see, pull-up outcomes. So yeah, 78% were non-progressors. So I'm not going to take up too much more time here, but the thing I would look at would be what is the normal rate of progression to get a sense of how significant this is. But from the report, this sounds huge. Obviously, the thing with these medical startups, though, right, is what is their cash position. So let me see if this has this here. Otherwise, I might have to dig it up somewhere else. But you'd want to see, like, do they have enough cash? Because good results can actually mean they need to raise funding. So, that's what I'd be looking for, is that offering risk. But you might not see that priced in until they actually do it.
All right,
FLJ is on the tape. FLJ, yeah, it's been this is had a nice momentum move this morning. So looking for that breakout of that accumulation zone it was doing for the past day or so, and into the pre-market, popped on the open, back to the buy side, and then now into its first buy side liquidity. We'll see if this holds or not. It's just had a tiny micro pullback there as well to those moving averages, so we'll see if it's getting any more on it. Just have a look where it was before, see if we can call this backside. So yeah, it has done it. Let's just check where that sell side is. So the sell side's right up there between kind of 190 and 220 as well. So anywhere around 220. I'm keeping an eye on FLJ, see if we see anything in terms of rejection to get short FLJ. But it's still on the tape right now.
All right, starting to see a little bit of some slowdown out there. Let's see what happens in the next, 10 o'clock, 10:13? Yeah, it seems like the time where we could get a little bit of some pullback and then a readjustment here. Definitely smash the like, guys, if you guys are enjoying the stream. All right, looking
Tesla
around,
covered as well. I keep saying covered because I short so much. Tesla closed out at those highs. That was literally didn't like that volume coming in at the top, so closed out at 179.34. That's it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I did like it long, but after that, I feel like it's going to be a little bit exhausted after that push. So I think, I kind of got lucky coming out of that buy side that we pushed up there. I think I'll leave Tesla alone for a little bit now, though. See what happens after lunch.
XRT starting to struggle a little bit here. Definitely got to hold off the bottom range, but we'll see if this can start to work its way back. Excel definitely was top trade of the day. I'll look for pullbacks on that. It's at 56.70. AEP, American Electric. Yeah, look at those utility plays, man. Those utilities, nice one. PCG even. Nextera Energy. How the banks doing? No, financial services are up also. So XLF, we can take a look. There you guys see it. Holding that 42, trying to push a little higher. Global banks. How's the good old SoFi? That has not done anything in a long time, man. Coin short, says Kevin. Interesting. See what happens on those. Mara included. Clean Spark, those names in play for sure.
FLJ coming off that first benchmark here. So now it's, can we get that push down to 116. If we don't get it, it could be more potentially more aggressive to go for those higher levels, but definitely acknowledge they're up at 1.5. So let's see if we get that volume in on the tape as well.
Doing pretty good on this clean spark here. I kind of like the setup now. I just would like to see a little bit of a pullback towards 1860s and then go. But definitely liking this kind of like bunch up pattern here on clean spark. Daily has a nice little attempt to break out above 20s. So I'm just keeping it a watch. It has a lot of volume today. Definitely people are watching it. So I'm going to keep it on the radar. Seeing Shane talk about short DJT there from 45.50s. Get after it, guys. Starting to see some pullbacks out there, and down on the day was Pan W, but working its way back, man. That thing is starting to climb back. It's getting hit today. Fortinet, FTNT. Bigger stock definitely taking a beating. All right, guys, getting hit here in XRT. Going to go ahead and let it try to bottom out here. It didn't add on the pullback. That's an important outlook. Now I need to see if it can undercut and come right back.
And I'm actually seeing what looks like to me some strong, well, it's wobbling here. I would try a long here on BDRX, but important to note with Trade the Pool, there are some restrictions on things that are at risk of a halt, and this has moved 8% within the last 4 minutes, so we are restricted from trading BDRX. So it actually doesn't matter what the analysis says. We can't touch that one, so we can wait 4 minutes and see if it consolidates, or actually wait till that 4 minute window is no longer tying that up. But for right now, hands off BDRX. So what you do is you basically look at it and you see, okay, here was, you count back. So this is 10, 17. So that would be 10, 13, 15. And then what you do is you just take the price, you divide it, or you multiply it by 0.08. Then you take that and you subtract it from the level. So yeah, you get a fast moving stock, but it really only takes about 45 seconds to decide whether that's something you're allowed to trade or not. And of course, that window moves. So now I look at this, and yeah, 214. So was that 10, 14? And that was there, 230. It's about 15 cents. So I think that's within range. It would take another minute with the calculator to see if that would be allowed. So just something to keep in mind if you're looking at these movers and you think you see an opportunity. Oh, Target is actually everything else is red for me, but Target looks like it's going.
When's Target's earnings? Have they reported already for the quarter?
Don't know.
Good question. Let me take a look right quick. Target. Tomorrow, of course, guys. That was a little bit of a trick question, guys. Come on, man. Tomorrow, guys. Target is coming. And this is why I could see it. A lot of times stocks like to run into earnings, but I wouldn't hold it overnight. Personally, I don't do earnings trades overnights just because I've been wrecked almost every time I've done an earnings trade. I think I've had done probably 10, and about 8 of them have not gone well. So I think I will pass on earnings trades, but something definitely to look out.
Yeah. And we can actually, so I think probably the biggest factor that I don't know about the biggest factor, but a big factor people will be looking at is they did launch the Target Circle Plus. So that's sort of their answer to Walmart Plus, and of course things like Costco, BJ's, Sam's Club. Yep. But yeah, I think they did a low price point leader. So the question is just going to be, even at that I think $49 price point, were they able to get significant enough take up that is going to do a meaningful contribution to revenues.
Communication
she goes
services.
again.
What you
Sorry,
got?
Mitch. MMAT back on the tape out of the most recent buy side again. So touch the sell side, come back down to it, and it is on the tape now. But what you got to watch out for is the most recent one, right? So we're coming down here. So we are in a benchmark. We've got that 460 above it, but it's been there once already today. So this is the one. I'm hearing it on the tape right now as we speak. So it's, has it got enough? Is that the bids coming in and they're pushing it into this sell side? If that dries up, then this can hold. If it comes back in kind of just a minute or so, then that could have the opportunity to break from 4s up there to 450s. So just keep an eye on MMAT and FLJ still I'm watching at the moment as well.
Looking to see if XRT can start working its way back. It could hit that bottom one more time, but I'm not gonna let it go through the low of the day now.
And here we are, BDRX. We do have that confirmed. I would say that looks like confirmed support on there. I would grab a long right here, but I did just look. The low within that 4-minute window was 213, and it popped up to 233. 231 would have been an 8% move. So yeah, unfortunately, this is one of those. We'll just have to kind of watch that one play out. But again, this is one where you can take your trade the pool earnings and you can trade those in your personal account. But yeah, I would not short BDRX right here personally.
I'm looking at lrmr, thinking about maybe potentially a short on this. I'd like to see it reject 850s first and then come back down. Then I think it could crack 8, but just one that I'm keeping an eye on. lrmr, cheaper name, of course. You can see how it's been up here. Daily chart actually doesn't look bad to the upside, so that's what's keeping me a little bit on the sideline right now. I know that you talked about the news just a little bit earlier, Tim, so I do see that kind of resistance kind of holding in around the 820s right now. So that could act as support here, so that's why I'm a little bit concerned. But the VWAP is really high up here. So it kind of faded off this 850 before. I could see it maybe tapping it and then really quickly right back down to 750s. All about risk and return, right? So we'll see what happens there.
MGOL running. I've got a benchmark around 140. 125 is kind of the bogey level, but it's definitely on a run. It's definitely on the tape. It's taken the mob right now. Again, so there's one that's a little bit tricky yesterday about around the dollar mark, which is not one I'm going to look at today, but 140 just about up there is that level. That's actually a benchmark up there. Just having a look at GME and AMC quickly. Okay, now still off the, let's look at this 2-minute.
LiDAR doing well today, and maybe LAZ starts to work its way back.
AMC, there you go. AMC. So AMC's bouncing off this buy side here down at the 460s. We'll see. Obviously, it's not going to do anything until GME does, but the 460s, I like that bounce, but we'll see. And maybe not today, but if 460s can hold over the next day or so, then I'll be looking at GME because its buy side is a little bit lower. So we can get down here to $20.50, maybe $20.80, anywhere around there, and then see a push out of there. I'd prefer it for AMC to come along for the ride if we get it.
That one looks wobbly to me right now, actually.
Taking a look at XPEV, of course, China Autos. Haven't seen them had the biggest bullish, but their earnings reports really weren't that bad. Tariffs are concerning, but this setup doesn't look too bad. It got all the way up to almost 10.50 and it's back to 9. So I see $1.50 of upside and maybe about 20 cents of risk. So this is the type of trade that I kind of like because of the risk to return. Like I talked about in the other trade. These are the types of trades I'm looking for. I'd look for a wick through 9 going towards 890s to try to get in, and then risking off this kind of lowing action here, maybe the 875s, 860s, 870s. So trying to get as close to that as possible for the scoop back up for an attempt to 1050. So like LI coming back, that tells me something too. What you got, Scott?
So looking at FLJ there, so benchmark 1 tapped in, come back. Now I'm looking to see if that volume on the tape can come back. There are 2 areas here. If I jump down to the 1 minute, it might be more visible. One off of display on this touch, which was a buy side pull from the low to the high, and one for the overall. So this is the one for the overall, and this is the most recent one. So it can go for both. I actually prefer this one. Where's the VWAP on this guy? So we're below VWAP. I prefer if we can get down to $1 on here to see if we can't get a push up for that $2 there, purely because there's $1 in the move, and because I think I'm going to have other traders in with me on the long side if we can get back to that 99 level. But we'll see if it comes on the tape 112. Maybe we take some at 112 and then take some at 99.
Hey, beyond, it looks like is actually everything's going green. I'm a little was a little aggressive on that GameStop short, but it looked like it was wobbling. So red on that, but that's because everything is pushing to the upside. All of a sudden, green on everything. Here we go. We got our fake pea protein meat for the win. That's pushing out of the gate there. And let's see how Silo's doing now. This is a little one. I think I got this one in the in a good time range as far as that percentage rule, because this is a low priced one. So to get that first profit there, so what is that, 214? I am gonna just put a scalp at 225. Then I'll let the rest go from there. But I'll just peel off some as soon as that's in range, plus 1 tick. So yeah, we'll see how these go. Target though is like, I'm guessing, I don't know. What do you think? If Target pushes up here, you think we see just a push into all the way to the close, or you think it chops around?
Yeah, it could be the type of stock that they drive it into the close, and then I'd be careful with some heavy selling at the close, just because it's leading into the earnings reports. A lot of times traders will ride it that day and sell it, right? Yep. They're trying to go with the momentum. Just because people are watching it because the earnings are coming tomorrow. A lot of traders will play it until the earnings report, and then they'll stop playing it and let it die down for a couple of days. Maybe they come back to it afterwards, but something that I'd watch for sure.
This upper line here, so we could get, this is where we'd see resistance, and then this lower, this sort of middle channel line here. We'll see what happens, but this is an interesting pattern here too. So So I'm going to just dig up. I'll be back in a second with a for the pattern site. I love this here, the patternsite.com. This is Thomas Bulkowski stuff. We do talk about that typically Thursday mornings. We've been discussing those patterns. So come on the Discord with us. And if you like the technical analysis, if you like the patterns, come talk about that on Tuesday or Thursday.
Might have to start joining you, Tim. I love to hear it. And definitely, Bulkowski is one of the best, without a doubt. If you study everybody that's done it in the past, and I think that's so important. Learn from the best, right? They left it for us. We might as well learn from it. Looking at this LRMR for a potential short here. Talked about the 850 move here. It's right on it. So it's like on the verge of breakout, but it could also just smack down back to 8. This is one that I'm letting it bunch up a little bit, trying to see the volume that's coming in. All right, guys, definitely smash the like. You guys enjoying the action. Future day trader Shane, what's going on out there? Smoke tuna. Still looking at some trades. I know Midas Soldiers was in here a little earlier. Good to see you guys all in the chat. How's it going? All right, guys, we're getting to that 10:30 time, and this is when we go ahead and have some fun. I've been taking some trades, XRT. Let me know if you guys like this LRMR, maybe to the short side or long. You guys can talk about some other trades. We can look at XPEV. What do you guys want? What do you guys want to see me trade? This is the chance where you guys get to run the show. Like always, go ahead and throw up some trades. You choose, we trade it. Post the ticker, direction, price. I'm giving you guys some ideas, but feel free to go outside of that, and let's get to the action. It's time for you guys to choose the action. All right, traders, what are we going to come after? You guys let me know in the chat. We'll let you know what I could get after it here, but definitely taking a look. Future day trader talking about BABA or LI. Not bad ones to keep an eye out for it. And Lloyd Loisy talking about how do we build our watch list. A lot of that's probably going to be based on action that's going on, catalyst, but I'll let you guys talk a little bit about that. Looking around for some trade action. And Dana talking about, I'm with you on that LRMR. Okay, LRMR. It's right there towards that 850. We'll see what happens on that one. Will it come crashing back down? Keep throwing them up in the chat. I'll look for a couple of votes, and then I'll take a trade. Let's get after it.
Lois, I can comment on the watch list building just because I was doing that this morning, and we're talking about the healthcare sector a bit. So yeah, I actually have, for myself, I have a subscription to a service that looks at that sector because that's an area of interest for me. It happens to be Biopharm Catalyst. There are others. And so they actually send me a newsletter every morning. They talk about the advancers, decliners, kind of the top movers, things like that. You can get that just from your scanner, obviously, but this is sort of more focused. And they also list those with news catalysts. There's also a list of conferences, upcoming approval dates, and things like that. So what I'll usually do is I'll first set aside I'll just go through all the advancers and decliners, those that are already moving for the day, and then from those, either from those or just additionally those that have news catalysts, I'll pull those up, and then I'll kind of look them over, see which ones are doing anything interesting, and dig into them a little further, start to have a bias. Besides that, I just sort of have a sort of standing watch list of interesting tickers, and that's the one where you'll see me just glance over at the screen, and I've just got that, so I'll just visually see which of those ones that I happen to have a feel for their personality are moving on the day. So a combination of news and just, my trading neighborhood, you might say.
Yep. Trying to get short here on that LRMR, guys. I got an order out there. I know that you guys are looking for maybe a potential trade on that. So I put the 840s out there right now for a short on limit. Let's see if I get filled. I'd risk right above it towards like 860. So give myself like 20 cents risk here. Looking for the move to come back down towards the 8. Wouldn't be bad at all. 40 cents on the upside. That'd be first profits. I could see it crash to 750s. We'll see what happens there. LRMR, just taking a look here. Still not in, but orders out. Orders out there, guys.
I'm actually curious, Scott, because Mitch, I know, looks at the sector ETFs and indices pretty much and narrows in is what I get from that. But I know, Scott, how you're looking at it once you get into it, once you get into a particular ticker, but are you just looking at a scanner, or what do you do there?
Yeah, I'm just listening. So obviously, like MGOL, for example, here. Cheers, man. Yeah, dependent on, this was on my radar because I've got the money flow coming in. The money flow has been coming in on MGOL intermittently. So on the pullbacks, no money flow. On the pushes, money flow the instant they start. So every time MGOL comes on the money flow here, that is what I'm looking for, is to say, right, am I at that pullback level? So here, if I'm down here and I'm pressing in to this level and I hear the money flow, then I'm getting in. Now this one, ignored it completely. It would have been down at about 83, made it down to the momentum moving averages, and then the money flow come in. Now halted, obviously. But yeah, so now I'll be looking for it to push into 140s. If we can reject 140s, simply looking for a candle, I'd be targeting 140s for a halt up if we can get it, and then looking kind of for a rejection up there and a short down. But ultimately, it is when you can hear that money coming in on the tape, the big orders are coming in, and when they stop, generally you get that instant pullback, and you don't know at that point whether it's going to be for 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents, or whether it's going to fade for the rest of the day. And I generally manage that by targeting the most recent buy side pull. So if we was where we are now, if I was to short 125s, I'd be targeting 110. If we got up to 140s, I'd be targeting 116. Ultimately then looking to leave some on to take some off at the whole move coming down to 80 cents. That would be my ultimate target on this. But yeah, the money flow on the scanners, gap scanners as well. From
I was just going to ask, yeah. So is that you said you could hear it coming in on that one. So is that one you'd already identified, or do you actually have a scanner looking for those money flow changes?
So I have a pre-market money flow, which is set to a lower setting on the pre-market. And then I've got the in-session money flow that brings it in as well. But I'm also looking at like these volume leaders every kind of 5 to 10 minutes. This will run, and it literally has just reset right now. So BDRX was the last kind of volume winner. There we go. It will change. So LI now comes in, followed by FSLR. So I'm just keeping my eye on them. I might not like them all in terms of, they might be high volume, but actually pretty sketchy for the rest of the session, for the prior hour of the session that we've looked at. So I might not like them, but I just want to know what's moving there. So yeah, anything RVOL, which is 3 and above, so 3 times normal volume, any stocks I'm looking at. The gap scanners I do look at as well, but if they've hit benchmark, it's either an early bird pre-market play for me, about 4 to 5 a.m. EST. And then I don't really look at them again until the session opens. But yeah, all scanners for me.
Yep. And there are also some, so for example, I mentioned before, I happen to use Moomoo for the some of my charting, mainly overviews and things like that. Options as well a little bit, but they have a scanner where it actually has some AI stuff looking for patterns for you. So they've got these things that they've identified, if it's got a swift rise, a bottom rebound, block buy. So and there's many of these different things will identify those patterns or those events, but there's stuff you can get also that can be either just, you can set thresholds for volume or things like that, or you can get it to actually look for changes in the pattern and tell you about that. So
yeah, sounds good.
Valero coming back, energy coming back today. This is one that I might take a swing on. I kind of like the way it's looking now. I'd look for a pullback to 163.50s. So I'm going to look for that pullback. I'll let you guys know if I take a shot on Valero to the upside. This would be some more swing trade out action. Future day trader asking about is it a good strategy to keep trading the same few stocks every day? Well, it all depends on what works for you. I know that sounds cliche, but it really is dependent on your personality. Some people just like to focus on one stock, only understand that one stock, and then see how it works against the market, things like that. But you got to find what works for you. That's the truth is there's no one answer there.
MGOL massively on the tape, looking to see if it drops off now. It's at 140.
That lrmr was probably a shot to go after. Didn't get to fill, guys. Had the order out there sitting, just no fills. It's back down. We'll see what happens there. MGOL, I see you, Scott.
Yep, just smack into 141 right now. It has just been halted at 141 right now. So that's it. Halt into the benchmark. How many halts we get? I don't know. What's the actual catalyst on MGOL? First quarter results. Let's have a quick look over at the news. MGOL. Yes, it's just first quarter earnings. Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs of that report, and doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me, whether or not it's got a good catalyst, and earnings is a catalyst regardless. And if it's coming up at 140 into that benchmark, I will look for rejection. and see if it gets it. But yeah, like I said before, always caveat, day one shorts are very, very risky, and much rather wait for a day two and let them pop back up to a level they've been to previously and then catch them on the way down.
All right, looking at what's doing well in retail. So I'm looking around, guys, trying to find some other plays to play there.
So I haven't heard this one on the tape yet, but remember what I was saying? This one, I'd prefer it down at the kind of $1.99 level to see if we can't then get some action on the tape here. But it's only just got in there at 104, but it was at those moving averages like I speak of. The target would have been a VWAP band play as well, I imagine. Yeah, so you've tapped into that deviation of a VWAP as well. So that's a play in itself. So I know I've got some traders with me on this one. Question is, does it like the benchmark for the high of day up there? So basically, does it like 150 for the high of day? The sell side for me and the initial target here is going to be 133. So that's the difference, is whether I do the right thing here, and I don't know that I always do the right thing here. We have a bogey level at 174. I've benchmarked 2 at $2, so it has that room. But the first target for those players that are in this long is going to be the VWAP. That's when I'm like, well, okay, then it's going to come down to another buy side. It's going to have another pullback. Else, it can push straight through and they will hold. Those buyers will hold as well. And in which case, I'm looking to get out at that kind of 133, 140 level. Unless it rips through, the tape just continues on volume through 135, through 140, and we close above 150, then I'm kind of ignoring this 155. I'm anticipating it's going to push higher. But yeah, long FLJ at the moment from about 111.
All right. And I think we are in a consolidation period. I think BDRX is now looking nice, and I think I am now in a good spot with regard to that rule. We had a little bit of a push up, so it's not as great of an entry, but I do have what feels to me like some confirmation of strength. So I'm probably going to try a small buy and see what happens here. Smallish. See how much I'm risking here. And, you know, that is the trade-off, you know, I know that the management is looking at those rules as far as, you know, the volume rules, or as far as especially those pre-halt rules. But that is the flip side too on these small movers. Like I've found more often than not, and this is actually an example I'm going to bring up, you know, is like, hey, can we look at this case? But also, you know, if you wait for that period of consolidation, I found more often than not, when I've been pushing the envelope on jumping in, I've ended up regretting it. So, you know, just something to think about in general, as far as like, you know, you see something building up and, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world to look for that consolidation, to look for confirmation, you know, and then give yourself a wider berth in terms of the stop. And then you can just try it once, have a wide stop. If it fails, you know, move on. We are talking about that this evening, and I'm actually get going in a few minutes, but we're going to talk about that this evening in our Discord. We'll be doing another chapter of the book, Thinking Fast and Slow. There is a free audiobook on YouTube, but that's great because it just gets you to sort of examine those, you know, you do a quick snap look at a chart, a quick snap look at a press release, and, you know, if you sit back and think about it for a second, you might have a different analysis than your snap judgment. So, not saying whether either one's right or wrong, but just that it's just a totally different thinking process. And so being aware of which one you're using when you look at the chart. Also our breathing, you know. So yeah. I'm actually feeling myself like, oh, it's going. I'm like, hold on. Sit back in the chair, put my shoulders back, like do the deep breaths, like so.
You want to know, Tim? In my early days, I used to be so interested in that I had a heart monitor that I'd watch, and I had a rule that
were you doing the biohacking thing? Were you?
Yeah, if I was at a certain like heart rate, that meant maybe don't trade that, because my emotions are going to probably go with my heart rate, right? If my heart rate is like I'm running in my chair, probably my emotions are going to feel like I'm running in my chair too, right? I think that these are all types of things that we can watch, right? I mean, nowadays they got Apple Watches that can just tell you your heart rate right there, right? I mean, so I used to have like a little indicator. I'd be like, okay, and I used to trade pennies, like, thousands and thousands of shares. So then I'd be like, okay, hold on. What does the heart monitor say? Okay,
one tick and you're up 1,000 down, down 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be quick, man. You got to be quick. That's the truth.
Man, that's actually interesting. Imagine having your biorhythms or having your heart rate on just a chart, like right below where you have those indicators, just have it right below the.
Imagine if you could train an algorithm that will tell you if you can trade or not trade based on your heart rate and how you're like looking at stocks, right? Like, I wouldn't mind designing a program that told me, hey, if I looked at a chart in 2 seconds and I try to trade it, it tells me, no, you're not allowed, Mitch.
And here's that BDRX pop. All right, now let me work on controlling that breathing, because I am getting a pop on this one. Here we go. Look at that timing. So
hey,
this one's actually it's going off the screen. So that's pretty cool there. I'm just gonna go ahead and actually snap a little bit off of there.
All right, guys, I'm taking a long on Clean Spark here. I'm taking a shot on Clean Spark.
And you know what? It's not just your actual level of distraction. I think we've talked about it before, but like, I'll show this personally. Like, I don't know if I had my balance up before. You can see I've got a negative balance right now on this account. And yeah, unfortunately, my wife's dog was pretty sick. We ended up taking her to the vet yesterday and put her to sleep and everything. But Thursday, Friday, that was actually when I took that hit. We just had we were kind of running around figuring out what was going on. And it was before it really hit a crisis, but it was just in the back of the mind. And it was just a combination of like, oh, I'll put this away, I'll step back, I'll come back to it. Or not even realizing, like, if you've got something stressful going on, or you've got something weighing on you, or you're just juggling a lot of things, even if you're not distracted in the moment, you might be distractible. And just be aware of that, because it messes with your your capability. It messes with your risk assessment. It messes with your capability to do those things that you're good at on good days. So just something to keep in mind, because that was a week's worth of progress in a day, and then again trying to get it back, in just a few trades. So it's it's how it is, man. And I think it's very important. I'm sorry about your story there, for sure. The best wishes for you guys today, and we'll remember the good times. That's for sure. That's always important. She had 17 years with that dog, so she was a pretty cool dog. Wow. I can tell you, at least my dogs are over here sleeping right behind me, and it's nothing like it, right? I mean, but definitely seems like it was a great life that dog lived. So shout out to it. And we'll remember. You got to bring us a picture. You got to show us a picture too soon. And hey, how about this for the chat? Let's ask this: who has pets with them? Who has trading? Who has a trading desk with the pets? Hanging out there. Yeah, man. I got. Does anyone have the thing with the parrot going and picking out tickers from the newspaper page? If you remember that from back in the day. So I like it. All right, guys, I'll update you on my trading action. I'm long XPEV. That was one of the trades that I talked about, right? 890s takeout and look for the 9 recovery. I did it, guys. I'm not going to shy away from a lot of times when I plan a trade like that. When I plan a trade like that, a lot of times I just want to execute on my plan. So there it is, XPEV, going to look for that to get back up to $10 at the minimum. So that's a dollar upside outlook. Also going after Clean Spark here, looking for this to come back through 875 and 19. We'll see if that happens here. Wanted to hold the 830s now. We'll see. I'm getting after it, team. 3 trades on. 3 boxes, right? But wow. There you go.
Not going to Lloyd's house, but I'll definitely give it a thumbs up there. I love boxers, though. They're great dogs. You should start a penny stock for that trading product. Yeah, I should.
MJOL halted off benchmark 2 at 140 and has halted to the downside there 129 and then gapped up 1 minute, has just been off. So yeah, kind of edge gone on that one, but process there. FLJ.
GME short for me.
FLJ, not G. Where are we? FLJ. Not J. FLJ, yeah. So I've got a position as FLJ. Like I said, come back for that buy side again because it went into the VWAP. We should now have a close above that VWAP here, running into that 130 level. Only small position on this one because this original one didn't come with the tape action. So I still don't have the tape action on this one coming out of here as well. Nevertheless, it's doing its thing. So smaller size on this one. So let's see if it gets to target and then watch to see if it does come on the tape and it rips through. But so it seems to be on light volume at the moment. Yeah, there's the target. Okay.
DOGZ, is that a ticker? What is that? Dogness International. Was that? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I've got that on my.
I thought that was a reference to the dog discussion and like, what is that? Dogness.
Chewy's doing good today. I know that much.
Hey, maybe it is a day for bark. Maybe I'll do a bark trade in honor of Daisy the Schnauzer. Let's see.
Hey.
There.
Oh, still riding out an XRT, guys. All right, clean spark. Let's go. Spark up.
Strength.
Let's spark up, man. Come on, clean spark. Let's get that going, clean spark. Let's make a ride. So I'm looking at the crypto miners, right? And that's a big part of it is looking at Riot, Mara. They're all by the support. Just want to see them push up past their VWAP. That could be a really good sign. But right now, they're all by support. Keeping an eye on it. Back above 1850s is going to look real good for clean spark. Let's see if we can get it. It just caught the momentum here last time, right around this spot, right around this 1840s, and then made a move up there to 1872. So I like this one based on the daily chart, especially, right? It could do kind of an inside day and pull back to 18. So that's also keeping on radar. But if we can get through Monday's high, 1892, that can be looking really good here on clean spark.
I hate to say it, I think BDRX is actually losing its channel here. Not positive.
How's that MAAT? That thing slowed down. It's back to the kind of the moving averages. We'll see what happens on that one.
It's just on the tape now, MMAT as well.
See what happens. I was looking.
Yeah, it's there. Similar things under the moving average play, but you've got the VWAP down there and the buy side. So yeah, just a little shout out on the tape. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, only about 6,000 in play there on that last push. 1, 2, 3, 7. Yeah, let's see if we hear it again.
Qs. I'm looking at the Qs to see if we can get some more upside. We've climbed all the way back to kind of the pre-market action. So now it's kind of important to watch to see if we get some pullback. I'm looking at the Qs, guys. We'll see what happens. Susie Q. XPEV going in the green for me. I'm keeping an eye on that. That's 907. Looking for an ad below 9, but watching that. All right, clean spark. Might take my last shot in it right here. Wanted to start holding this kind of just this dip right now that it just did. The 38s, take out the 50s and start to move. There we go. Getting a little bit of lift there. 1840s, 1850s now. There we go. That's what I wanted to see there, guys. That's actually looking pretty decent now. And I wanted to get to the trend line for the first profits, 1860s, and then I can just let the rest of it try to work back to 19. See, let's go ahead up and set up a sell there. Just take some profits into the 1860s. Maybe like 68 for right now. Orders out to sell just a tiny bit there. I got 300 shares. Looking for the spike to sell some into, and then looking to see if it goes. A lot of times I'm selling into the resistance move, a piece, and then looking for continuation.
ARM is going. Are the other semis going as well?
I did see Qualcomm having strong times, but LRCX struggling. It's a little bit of a mixed noise, but the Qs are looking good. So I think that's what I'm watching right now.
It could actually be peaking here. So it filled the gap, and now it's testing back to the downside. AMD is just sort of meandering around down there. It can still gap fill to the upside. I would do caution on ARM. I wouldn't chase it here because the trend line that I had it trying to make its way up to, I now have it just above, and so I would not be surprised if it comes back down to test that. So I would wait till it gets back down at least to like 113, 13, you know, would be a good spot there. I wouldn't, I'd let it pull back a little bit if I was going to get into that. But honestly, it looks pretty extended right now, ARM does. I'd look at AMD actually if I were looking to get in and feeling bullish on semis generally.
Little wipeout attempt there in Clean Spark. I'm trying to hold to it, guys. I'll let you guys know. I'm pretty close to stopping out here.
FLJ. So tape dried up at 146. Tried to get out, didn't get out until 135 on this. It literally just dropped like a stone on that one. But yeah, it looked like it really wanted it at that top side of there. The tape was eventually shouting on this, and I thought we was looking for a break up, but no, it's coming back. So now it's, do we get it again? Aggressive move back to this buy side. Do we hold this buy side pull? The VWAP sitting there. Moving averages are still down here again for that same play, so we do have this still intact. But yeah, that's me out of FLJ for the moment. Just keeping an eye on it down at 120s.
And BDRX did just lose its 23 fib in that channel there. Let me pull that window up there, so you can see here. And here's where it's interesting, right? Here's where those channel tools come into play. I'm doing it in Trading View, but Trader Evolution has it built in slightly different. But you can see here, if I go down, if I include the wicks especially, right, we're still up there. Even if I don't, right, this pop up here, right? So it looks like we held the 23 fib horizontally, right? But if you look at including time factor, right, is it keeping up its momentum? No, it's not, right? It came down, you know, came back in the channel, and it was just petering down. And this was its last gasp attempt to hold that 23 fib, which it lost it with some volume. Now it might reclaim it. I am not shorting it here, but I put a trail on when I started seeing it struggling here, and I am out of that. So this is if you are feeling optimistic, this might be a good long here. You'll have to do the calculations on that 8% rule, but for me, it lost the last grip on that channel, and I suspect it'll drop further from here.
All right, guys, time to do a little bit of a quick recap. It's 10:58. Like always, guys, smash the like if you guys enjoyed the action today. We're always going to keep battling with you guys. Definitely smash the like. Bring your A game. We got the rest covered. We're going to keep battling with you guys. Like always, check out Trade the Pool. If for some reason you're joining the stream and you're not already, what are you doing, guys? Check it out. Trade more than 12,000 stocks in ETF. It's time to go into our little recap. I'm going to let Tim lead the show here so that we can get him out of here. Let's do a little daily recap from Tim, and then we'll get to my trading. And Scott, wrap it up. Hit the like button, guys. Let's get to the action.
All right, so yeah, ARM is doing strong. I'll go with that. GameStop, my downsized short, is doing okay now, but this one is here where my eagerness kind of punished me here, so that's close to $1,000 lost there, and that was just on kind of this pop here and this pop up here before it finally started moving down. BDRX, that worked out well, took modest gains. And right now ARM is the leader. Silo still waiting to see if that will make significant move. Target made some initial gains and has pulled back a little bit, so I'll see how that works out. If I give up on it, maybe average down, maybe just kind of wait it out and see. So yeah, ARM and Target, kind of the big ones there on the long side. GameStop on the short side. And then, yeah, waiting to see what happens with Beyond Meat and Silo. Those look like they could be coiling for a larger move.
All right, guys, it's time for me to go here. I'll go ahead and kick it off, guys. Pretty much red day right now for me, but was able to battle back yesterday with the CGC short, so we'll see if I get an afternoon short today. Like always, you guys can keep up to my Twitter. I'll fill you guys in on that action. But today, losses in Intel. That was really the big hit there, down 67 on that, and that's why I'm down 76. We're going to battle, and I think that's what it's all about, guys. So we'll see what happens towards the end of the day. I always say that, you know, you can take a hit and still bounce back. I've done it like 3 or 4 days in a row. So we'll see what happens today, 76. And overall, still up on this account, battling here, guys, battling up about 849 right now, projected balance at 927. Got to keep battling. And you guys see me, I'm getting bigger and bigger sizing. And this is a lot to do with what? Taking it easy at first and then working my way towards that action. We'll see what happens, guys. Going to keep battling on this account and keep pushing forward. Now kicking it over to my man, Scott. What do you got for us, Scott?
All right, let's bring it on. Okay, so MMAT was the original one, kind of on the open, in at 320, adding at 35 and out at 350. Didn't want to hold for that potential pullback to the buy side. However, that would have been the better trade on that buy side from 320 all the way up to 410. That was MMAT. Then we took Tesla. Tesla was originally a short because, like I said, it felt like it was at that benchmark mathematically, and then it closed below the buy side. But as soon as it closed below the buy side, it whipped back up. So I flipped the position and went long here at 178.27 and took it off just as we see that volume come in at the top, kind of exhausting it out at 179, and then that faded off from there at the moment. And then the final one was FLJ. FLJ coming in again down to its buy side liquidity pool, volume coming out, but not a lot of it. Just 3 calls and then nothing else on this, literally. And we've gone from 112. Like I said, couldn't catch that off at the 140s. Got out at 134. Was it 135? And it's gone for it again. It's literally going for it again right now. So let's see. It looks like it does want that benchmark 2 on FLJ. But that's the recap from me at the moment. Now, what else have we got? I think that's about it. We are over time by 3 minutes. So everybody, Tim, Mitch, thanks for being here. Been great, you guys.
Time flew today. I tell you what.
We will be back with you tomorrow. And give us a like and subscribe. And Mitch, you can close us out.
All right, guys, like always, guys, smash that like, hit the share button. We want to get some more traders in here. So if you know some traders that are your friends, maybe it's your uncle, whoever it is, let them know that this is a place that they can learn and have some true support in the trading community. We'll see you back tomorrow, guys. Hit the like.